Good evening, Canes fans. Peter Ariz here, bringing you tonight's edition, the instant reaction. I'm sorry for this crazy stuff with the background going on behind me, but Miami survives ACC opener against Virginia Tech. Not pretty, didn't cover the spread, came out flat in a lot of aspects, got the line of scrimmage pretty much all game long. But this is a game that Miami loses the last 15 years. This one felt very similar at the end to what happened against Georgia Tech last year. Obviously, thought the ACC refs were going to do what they normally do against Miami there at the end. But man, oh man, they did it. They survived. And again, I know everyone's going to get crazy here in the comments, as they should, right? Because this was not a great performance. Mario Cristobal was not happy after this game. Right now on the field, he said it was a very sloppy ball game, which it was. Multiple turnovers, which we have not seen from this team this year. But let's just get right into that last play. As everyone's in the comments saying, it was not. There was no way that was a touchdown in real time. What was scaring me as I was listening to the announcer saying is, was there enough to overturn it? Obviously, we all saw that there was plenty to not even call it a touchdown in the first place. But you just never know with these refs, the ACC refs in particular, right? So the fact that they had called it a touchdown on the field was freaking me out. They weren't going to overturn it, but they did the right thing. There was no way that the receiver maintained possession throughout that catch. The ball was moving the entire time. Again, survived 1-0 in the ACC, 5-0 overall. The comments section is going crazy here. Almost 600 viewers live already. So huge win for the Canes today. Ugly, worst performance of the year without a doubt. Probably the best test they've faced. And let me just try to get rid of this. The virtual background is going to be ugly behind me. But yeah, I'm gonna have to do it because if not, it's not looking good. So let's just get right into it, guys. Cam Ward had some struggles in this game. Obviously, has his fumble on the first drive, throws a couple interceptions there, but at the end of the day, he puts together 2 drives that takes Miami home. You knew 2 touchdowns to win this game. They score with 8.5 minutes left. They score then. Of course, they drive it down. We got to talk about the plays he made. Number one, Xavier Restrepo. We got to talk about that Xavier Restrepo catch. Falling on the ground on was that 4th down? I can't even remember, but I think it was 4th down. I mean, he made the on his back, had slipped to the ground, and just what a catch, keeps the drive moving. And then, of course, Cam Ward eludes 2 pressures, is able to pitch the ball with 2 hands. Giving him credit on Twitter saying what play by Cam Ward. And let's give Riley Williams credit. For those who go, if you go back and watch the replay, Riley Williams was on the ground, has the presence of mind to get back up off of the ground and get himself in position to make that reception, stiff arm, and he was moving and he got right downfield. As always, now that we have almost 1,000 viewers in here, I want to remind everybody that this show is brought to you by the law offices of Anajar and Levine. Attorneys take back control of your life with Anajar and Levine. 1-800-747-FREE. Contact them again, Anajar and Levine, accident attorneys. So just getting into some of these comments, as a lot of you guys are saying it, ugly win, but a win is a win. That is a game. If you're just joining me, I said it a few minutes ago. That is a game right there that Miami loses the last 15 years. They're checked out after the first or second quarter. Obviously, things were not going their way. Down 10 at the end of that. First half. Gallus, huge kick. Miami faces the best kickers in the country with incredible leg strength and accuracy. The last couple of weeks, 58 yarders being hit against them, crazy. But they keep it together. Defense did not have their best stuff. Virginia Tech was giving them issues. That run game really wore them down. Simeon Barrow goes out in the second quarter. Big loss. Ruben Bain did not return today as expected. Jalen Rivers obviously on the other side of the ball too, which the O-line probably had their biggest struggle of the year so far. They got tired. They got worn down. We saw Markel Bell struggle a bit at times. We saw Francis Mauanoa get cramped up, but they held it together. They did not fold. They got the win. Not perfect. I keep saying it. Ugly. Just looking at some of these stats as I pull up the box score here. Let me take a sip of water. Cam Ward, 343 yards, 4 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Of course, did not have his best game. Had the most pressure that he's faced. Damian Martinez, slow start for him, but I think you saw, in that fourth quarter, late in the game, had some pivotal runs for Miami. Chris Johnson had that nice reverse. Just looking at the stats here, Xavier Estrepo again. What a catch by him to keep that thing moving. I mean, that was miraculous. Appreciate everyone on here right now. Danny Boy Kane says heart, guts, determination. We won by a feather. And that's what it is. Again, going back to that last play, they called it a touchdown field, so I was worried that they were going to say there wasn't enough to overturn it. But looking at the video, there was no way you could say he maintained possession. It would have been, again, people would have tried to justify it. Andre Ware was already trying to justify it, calling the game. And I thought Andre Ware was very fair to the Canes the entire time. You could tell he's a huge fan of Cam Ward. But he was already saying, look, I don't know if there's enough to overturn it. Man, just look at the video. There was nothing to even say there was a touchdown in the first place, right? So maybe the referee's saying, all right, I'm going to call it a touchdown and because it's harder to overturn it once it's – but either way, that's not a catch. No way it was a catch. So Juan Manuel Ventura said, Pete, I saw a ghost of GT and Ghostbusters named Cam and Carmen just to save the day. That felt, even though it wasn't the same game, right? Miami was up in that Georgia Tech. This game here, Miami comes from behind, but dude, it just felt like there was a few plays that Miami playing one high safety on that last drive, and I kept thinking, don't let anyone get behind. Was it Deani Hill who was in coverage there? Who had one-on-one coverage? I think it was when they tested him deep. So Malik Bryant getting some comments here. Assad Hussein saying he took a step forward. He was killing dudes out there. He put the same thing. He looked explosive. Elijah Alston's the other one who went out. I was mentioning Simeon Barrow, Ruben Bain, obviously, but Elijah Alston, who's been a great player for Miami this year. It looked like Miami really was tired late in that game. A lot of bodies falling down, for sure. So, dude, 5-0, 1-0 in the ACC. Cal next week, late game. Everyone's talking about it, and then with the bye after that. But you're undefeated. I mean, this was the only game on tonight. Prime time, ESPN. You had the lead in from Sports Center. You had the lead out. Cam Ward being a Heisman contender was the top headline. It was the first highlight they played coming out of there. Great game. Give Virginia Tech a ton of credit coming in here. Not a lot of people gave them much of an opportunity. They were coming in here 2-2, lost it to Vandy and Rutgers. Some questionable clock management decisions there at the end by Coach Brent Pry, but not Miami's problem, right? They got to do better there. But man, the way this team stuck together, again, needing 2 touchdowns late in this game was really impressive. And then I was at a certain point in that last touchdown drive for Miami, kind of saying to myself, let's pick up the tempo a little bit. Let's hurry it up, because just in case Virginia got to stop. But Miami the entire time was putting their trust in Cam Ward to run that clock down. Obviously, the Riley Williams play bust for 20 yards, so kind of puts them in a situation where they're trying to score right away. Not really going to take much time off the clock. But to me, the faith they showed in him, in Cam Ward, and Shannon Dawson, Mario Cristobal, to just slow it down, not say we need to go score right away. Let's try to take as much time off the clock as possible. You're gambling there. There's a stop, turnover, whatever. The game is essentially over. You did have 3 timeouts at the time, but that's a tough proposition there. So for them to put that trust in it, to me, was incredible. So let me get to some of the comments here. I know we have a lot of us. A lot of people coming in here, and I want to get to some comments or questions. Um, Dr. Jones saying Messi out. He was another one that got banged up there, right? So a lot of bodies. We'll see what happens here in the coming days. Obviously, again, Ruben Bain, we expected him to be out there. Jalen Rivers, there's a lot of talk about him being able, and Chris Rowe was hinting at it all week long, but there's mind games involved here too, right? So Virginia Tech was preparing for them all week long. Hopefully, we see them back ASAP, right? We know that obviously Brown's been dealing with injury as well, Brian Rodriguez. So you're getting to that point of the season now that the depth is going to definitely come into play. Let me see. We got a Falconer TRX. Appreciate the support here. Daughter there, kids understand Miami is good. Yeah, I mean, look, Friday night, tough to get a a packed crowd out there in Miami on a Friday night, but big win here against Virginia Tech. You start ACC play. So keep going. Award for Heisman. I mean, look, he had some Heisman moments tonight for sure. If they lose this game on ESPN tonight, not a you kind of have a lot to come back from there. You're behind the eight ball in the ACC, number one. Forget about the Heisman campaign, but you're behind the eight ball. So not a perfect game from Cam Ward. You know he's not going to be too happy with his performance. The fumble on the first drive was a little loose with it, and then the interceptions. Had some stuff to clean up there as well. Kind of got baited into some things. But regardless, it's one thing to make those mistakes, which he did, but the way he responded, the way he came back from it, it doesn't erase it. It's still something to think about and understand. There are flaws in his game, but you come back, you get these drives when you need them, you score the touchdowns, and you win this game, right? That you move on. It's not an L on the schedule. Ugly win, ugly performance. Coach Cristobal is definitely not happy with how they played, but in the back of his mind, as we know, he comes from the Saban tree somewhat. He's taken a lot of things from him. The rat poison, the hype. Not saying it's gotten to them, right? I really don't think that's what it was. This was a Virginia Tech team who, again, 2-2, did not look good in situations this year, but have been able to run the football. Miami had multiple injuries on the front. Injuries to, again, depth is going to be important here moving forward, but those injuries that Miami suffered were going to have an effect on this game as this game wore on. Kyron Drones, not super impressive, obviously, by the box score, 19 for 1,300, 89 yards, 2 touchdowns, but he was able to make some plays with his feet, right? Extend plays. You saw that heave that he had. It wasn't a Hail Mary, but it was a prayer, I would say, that scored them the touchdown and put them up late in that third quarter, I believe. Let me look at the scores here. But yeah, it was 5 minutes left in the third quarter there. So Virginia Tech came in here, credit to them, played hard, but Miami closes the deal with a game that I'm gonna be interested to hear these comments after the game here, but man, really looked tired at the end of this game here. They had to exert a ton of energy to get back into this one. Let's see. Cody Kane 722. Appreciate the support, my man. Asking where'd you get the shirt? This is my buddy Seafood Company, Champion Seafood. I'll post the link to his stuff in the comments, or just pay attention moving forward this week. I can't grab it right now, but I'll uh I'll drop it sometime this week. I'll give him another shout out, but I don't know if the shirts are for sale, but yeah, he did a great job with them. Appreciate the support once again. D Breeze says Cam Def has a fumbling issue and see the throw at the end narrative out there. They have small hands, which could be a real thing. Look, I think that you it's a double-edged sword, right? You see all the great plays he made, stepping up in the pocket, just right into the teeth of the defense when everything's spread out. As soon as that pocket collapses, the way he steps up, it's dicey. You see the play that he made with Riley Williams. if one guy pokes the ball out, you can say, well, he has a fumbling issue. At the same time, you also see the outcome there, the positive outcome, right? So it's the give and the take with the way that he plays. He has a little bit of a gambler's mentality. We're gonna hate it sometimes, but then we're gonna see these spectacular plays that are all over the highlight tapes. And yes, that's part of him continuing to clean up his game. But at the same time, when we talk about the stuff that he does that is so special at the position, you're gonna have some stuff that sometimes doesn't look so pretty when you look back at it. So agreed. I think he would tell you we need to clean some of that stuff up, but we also get the other side of it. Son of the Beach says defense was atrocious. Obviously, worst game that they've played this season. Again, let's not discount these injuries up front, man. I mean, they've been so dominant at the line of scrimmage for the most part. You saw what they did against USF, 1.9 yards per carry against them. Against Florida, other than that big touchdown run that Montrell Johnson had, kept them in check. But dude, you had Ruben Payne out. And again, I keep harping on the depth. And depth, I think there's really quality depth on this team, but lots of snaps for Justin Scott out there. Ahmad Moten, are these guys ready to be down in, down out players? I don't know. That remains to be seen, right? I'm a big believer in the talent. They've shown good things so far, but when you have Barrow out, when you have Alston coming out of the game as well, a lot of moving pieces there, right? So, Kiko Mauanoa missed tackle on that long touchdown run. He would like to have that one back for sure. Tackling was not great today. That was not good, and that has nothing to do with injuries, right? Tackling is tackling. So, not a good day for the defense, but they'll come back. Gonzalez says with your O-line knowledge versus Virginia Tech, amazing amazing D or this O-line not as deep as we thought. Or no, I think he's asking the other way around, excuse me. Gonzilla, I appreciate the support once again, but it's going back to what I'm saying, man. I think you have 3 of your top defensive linemen out of this game, and that's a tough proposition to deal with. I mean, these guys were gassed at the end of the game here, so I think it was the whole team. And look, short week as Kane thing, um, 24 is saying, and I think that was obvious tonight, man. I really do think it was obvious. Let's see. Malik Bryant, Brady Smouse says, "Yeah, we talked about him earlier, man. He was bringing the boom, versatile player. He was playing all over the place out there. Saw him rushing, saw him blitzing, saw him spying the drones at times. So let's see what else we got here. I'm gonna wrap it up here in a few minutes, guys. I appreciate the support. I'm gonna like this video, subscribe to the channel. We've got 2,600 almost on here. Um, let's see. Michael Rodriguez saying that, dude, that game added 20 years to my life. I couldn't breathe during the anticipation and the buildup for that last call on the touchdown reversal. We've seen this story so many times where Miami doesn't get that call, and I was just ready for it, and it was such a sigh of relief that they actually got the call, so reversed in their favor. So I agree with you, but we can smile now. If you're just joining the show, I said it from the beginning, not a pretty game, sloppy as Mario Cristobal said, but this is a game. Miami loses the last 15, almost 20 years now. They did not look in it the first and second quarter. The offense looked fine, but you could tell the defense, they just weren't there from the start of the game. And we saw it last week against USF. They made adjustments, and that wasn't the case. Virginia Tech turns Miami over early in that second half again, and it keeps the momentum rolling for them, keeps their belief going. They hit Cam Ward a little bit as I'm watching the replay here on SportsCenter. Again, I'll say it. Cam Ward deserves all the credit in the world for that play with Riley Williams there at the end. But the presence of mind for Riley Williams, who was on the ground, to get himself back up, look for the football, stiff arm and gets 20 yards downfield. To me, he deserves a ton of credit, and he's gonna be a stud, man. Try to scroll here to the end of the comments. Trenton Breeze, man, he was in town from Kentucky. Shout out to Trenton. He was in the stadium. I don't know, Trenton, man. If we would have lost this game, I would have told you. We might have to monitor the visits you make down here, man, because maybe you're bringing us bad luck. But just it brought us a little drama, man. Appreciate you for coming down and packing the rock tonight, all the way from Kentucky, and doing a great job on the website. Miami Kane saying Restrepo saved the game. I said it earlier in the show. If you're just joining me, that play right there when he slipped was on his back. Obviously, Cam Ward threw it to him when he was getting out of his break, and I keep using the word presence of mind, but he just throws his hands up there, makes the reception, and as soon as he catches it, brings it down to his body because he knows there's a defender trying to poke it out from behind or wanted to, but the defender really couldn't even believe that he made the play. So all right, everybody, I'm gonna wrap this up here. Miami survives 38-34. The ACC refs didn't screw us. They get the win. Miami almost screwed themselves, but the ACC refs didn't. Canes 38-34. Cal next week, late night. Thank you all for listening tonight on the Canes Inside Live instant reaction show as Miami survives the ACC opener against Virginia Tech. Go Canes.